Welcome to From the Trenches, Success Shortcuts Revealed by Real-World Innovators Crushing It Right Now. I'm your host, Scott Hartley, and we're back with another episode packed with actionable strategies from today's most successful entrepreneurs. If you're tired of generic business advice and ready for real cutting-edge tactics that are working right now, you're in the right place. And today, we're diving deep into building an engaged online community without it being a time suck. And I can't wait to share with you the transformational insights from our guest. So I'd like to introduce you to Jade Olivia. Jade has a background in professional dancing and cheerleading, coaching, music, and marketing automation. Quite the diverse things there. But she combines all of those skills to serve her favorite people in the world, entrepreneurs, just like you and me. And while Jade can nerd out with the best of us when it comes to automating small businesses, the part she enjoys the most are the relationships that she makes. And because of her natural ability to make people feel seen, heard, and loved, even in Facebook groups or on Zoom, she also professionally manages online communities and trains others on her data-driven approach to generating focused community-led engagement. And two interesting random facts about Jade are she plays ukulele every night when she
Uh,
tucks the kids into bed,
uh-huh.
and she has ADHD, I can't imagine that, and loves leveraging her neuroquirkiness to enhance business and relationships. Jade, I am so happy to have you on the call today.
Woo! Is that weird? I want to clap because that was like such an exciting intro. Like, this is why the show is so great. Here's Jade. That was so fun. I love it. Let's
It
do this.
was. So I always get excited because I mean, getting to talk to people like you who are doing some really amazing things out in the world, sharing those insights with our audience, because we all want to know what's working right now. And I
Mhm.
know that, for a lot of people, probably for, some time, we've all probably tried to start our Facebook group because that was the hot thing, and
Uh-huh.
now school is kind of the new place for everybody to go. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
got to get a school community up and running. And if you follow, Alex Ramosey's strategy and what a lot of other people are saying, you start off with free and get it into the paid and all of that. But
Mhm.
so many people struggle with just the free communities, and it's like, I've got so many other things that I need to be doing that to try to get all of these people active and staying engaged and figuring out what I need to be doing with my community. It's just like, no, there's no way. But you've kind of cracked the code on this and you've got some things that actually work. And I'm in several of the communities that you kind of manage and help oversee, but you're not doing a lot of that work. You kind of get them started and get them going. So I'm interested in really kind of picking your brain and figuring out what it is that makes these communities so amazing.
Yeah. Oh, uh, nailed it. And I think before I can even jump into the solutions, and I promise y'all, I'm going to give you like actionable things you can do today for sure. But I think it's really important to discuss why they're quiet because we
Mhm.
can't fix it without really deeply understanding the problem. I mean, everybody
Sure.
listening to the show is in business. And what I think you'll find as I'm talking is that there is a huge common denominator between business best practices and community best practices.
Hmm.
So everything I'm going to say, this is stuff you already know. So I think I want you to feel really good and really confident about activating your community engagement because this is stuff you already know about your business. And it's time to just apply the same best practices to the micro environment of your community. So you can totally do this. I totally believe in you. This is going to be awesome.
And that makes it super simple because if we
Yeah.
already know it, it's just a matter of
Yeah.
applying it in a different way, right?
Yes. I mean, think about your email strategy, your content strategy, your marketing in general, your business in general. Do you
Yeah.
stand on a pedestal and say, me, I, or do you talk about them and their problems and you build connections and you serve them and you make them feel like they're building a relationship with you and your business? And so we do that. A lot of us work hard on doing that in our, like I said, your email marketing, your website, you're trying to have a really great page that captures them and sucks them in. It's
Hmm.
literally all the same concepts. We just need to apply them strategically to your community to get them to feel like they're home and open up about the right things at the right time in the right places. And we'll absolutely get you doing that today.
Awesome.
So cool. So in my opinion, and I will die on this hill, y'all. I think the biggest problem with communities, the ones that are quiet, out of control, weird, awkward, anything that's not just like thrillingly amazing when you walk in the door, is
Mm-hmm.
because you as the leader, or maybe your community manager, whoever's, on board in leadership with the community, is treating your community like social media. And I want to draw a hard line. Social media is one thing, your business's Instagram account, your business's Facebook fan page, your TikTok account, right? These are all entities where you, the business, you post and you try to get people to like you. You try to get eyeballs, engagement, likes, comments, shares, right? It's about
Mm-hmm.
you. And, it's your face, it's your voice, it's your brand, it's sharing your expertise, stories, all these things. In community, it's the opposite. You shouldn't be the one posting. It is not about you. It is the home for them to be on the pedestal, for them to have conversations under the umbrella of your thought leadership. They're all there because they're there for a reason, because of the service you provide, because of the things you believe in, because the transformation that you promise. They're all
Mm-hmm.
there, but you should not be the one talking. Social media is where you talk. Community is where they talk.
Interesting. So that's kind of a shift, especially if you have a Facebook group, to
Mm-hmm.
kind of like move out of that as like I'm on social media and this group's a part of social media, but it's a different mindset that you have to have how you're actually running that group.
Right, right, totally. And I've seen people in like our shared communities post about like, hey, what should I be posting on my, Facebook account versus my group? And in my head, my gut reaction is you're thinking about it wrong. Like, how do you get them to talk? How do you
Yeah.
what are you generating, in their heads to provoke conversation and build connections and relationships? So that might sound really, really like obscure right now, but
Yeah.
we will get into the details. But I think that's the biggest problem that I want to tell the whole world. Please tell your friends, share everybody, say, oh my gosh, the community is where we get them to talk. And I'll tell you how, I promise. But it is not where you post and you talk at people. That's what you
Yeah.
do on your Instagram account. That's what you do. Your email marketing is a means for you to share messages with people and build connections. But community is where you actually don't talk very much in the good ones. And if
The
it's
good
really
one. Yeah.
good, you don't have to talk very much. In fact, the best community, the ones that I pay to be in, the leader never posts. I pay to be
Wow.
in mastermind communities, to be in elite communities, I spend money to be around really smart people.
Mm-hmm.
Like a really great example that a lot of people might be familiar with, there's Stu McLaren, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He's, the big influencer in the membership space.
Yep.
I don't go into his community thinking I'm going to talk to Stu. Like that's ridiculous. I would have to pay a lot of money to get some converse, not even one-on-one time, but like conversation with Stu. I would have to pay a
Yeah.
lot of money or join memberships or like that, right? The free community is where everyone is like, what are you doing for this? How about this? Hey, this is working for me. Hey, what do you think about this? And people are chiming in and helping each other. That is a really good community. It's great to be in because people are constantly asking and giving and sharing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very, I think the best communities are really forum-esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we're all there kind of asking and supporting each other. And very rarely, not rarely, but it's not, I don't go into a community to talk to a person. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a whole mindset shift we all need to embrace.
Yeah, it almost kind of sounds like, those excellent communities like you just described are, the owner of that community is more or less a facilitator.
Yes.
They're, creating a space where people can interact with each other, share
Hmm.
ideas, share comments, ask questions, that type of thing. And they're just kind of sitting back, and watching that interaction, which is good news
Hmm.
because if you're being that facilitator, that doesn't require as much effort and time on your part.
Yeah. Yeah, a really great community allows the leadership to be reactive because they've strategically been proactive and set the table, and people are being prompted. And that's kind of like a little precursor. That's what we're going to talk about soon. But people are being prompted and they know what to conversate about and when and why
Hmm.
and how. So that allows community managers in particular, not even the leadership, right? That
Yeah.
allows community managers to go in and be responsive, to go in and be like, oh my gosh, wow, really great question. Let me tag in this person because I know they've been in your shoes before. That's what a
Yeah.
great community manager does. They don't answer questions. They introduce people and they start It's like my favorite, you've probably heard me say this before, Scott. A really great community is like hosting a birthday party.
Mm.
It's my birth. I'm inviting a ton of people to celebrate my birth,
Hmm.
but I don't expect people to come to my house and me stand on a table and make everybody look at me and everybody go, okay, hi, let me tell you my birth story. Let's all talk about me. No, I
Right.
host a party in my home. I
Hmm.
invite everyone. I know everybody. They don't know each other. So a really great host of a party goes, hi, come on in. Here's where you put your coats. The bathroom's over here. We're going to have cake at 7 o'clock sharp. So don't go crazy on, the liquor over there, but that's where the drinks are. And by the way, Sally, my friend Rebecca is also from Minnesota. You guys should totally hang out. Boom, boom, boom. I'm facilitating a flow of a party and
Yeah.
I'm not standing there shouting at people, making it about me. And that is going full circle. That's what I mean. This is not social media. This is not for you to stand and talk at people. This is a community where you're hosting a party.
That is an amazing. I never thought of that way.
Mhm.
That analogy is so perfect because that's what we all want in our community is, to make those introductions, connect the people and like go at it,
Mhm.
help each other out. Now, you've mentioned, quite a bit already, about community managers. So if somebody doesn't have the time, they're putting together this community, but they don't have the time or the desire to kind of be that facilitator, that connector, what's some qualities that they should look for in a good community manager to make those introductions and kind of, coordinate that interaction between members?
Yeah, I often find the best community managers, and this is true for me in roles that I've accepted as a community manager, because I will not accept a place where I don't feel like I'm a good fit.
Hmm.
Is I often find that like the company that has the community, they're graduates, they're top performing clients. So a really great example that a community I manage, it's called Monkey Pod, and they have a paid community. And the owner of the company's name is Greg Jenkins, and I took all of his courses, I watched all of his videos, and that's how I got good at doing automation, which is what the membership is about. And
Hmm.
there are free membership automation communities that I could be in, but I chose to be in that one because he had a particular approach and a particular like vibe, and I wanted to be around smart people sharing ideas under his thought leadership. So I paid to
Hmm.
be in that community, and I kept getting better and better and better at it. And then when the time was right, and it just worked out great, where he needed a community manager and I had quit my job because I got so good at automation. So I was ready to go out on my own. So
Yeah.
it's great because I was a protege. That's the word I was looking for. Like I understood I could emulate his brand voice,
Hmm.
and I was also a subject matter expert. So it's like it's that happy medium. Like I
Yeah.
understand where he's coming from, but I've also been in everybody's shoes. So it's kind of like, I'm the mom of the group.
Right. And so, so finding, somebody who is maybe already in your group as an
Hmm.
A client,
Yes.
that wants to take on that additional responsibility in that role. So that way you don't have to like, oh, hope I find a VA that can actually do
Right.
this, or
Yeah, you don't want to
and
throw
try to
someone in
train
there
them
who
up,
doesn't.
right?
Totally, totally. And you could either pay them, you can reward them with free, like I stopped once I was hired as community manager, I didn't pay to be in the community anymore. So there's different ways to work out the relationship depending on how heavy the load is. But
Hmm.
um, I like to think of it in three layers. There's the leader, that would be Greg in this situation. There's managing, that would be me in that situation. There's also a moderator role. That's VAs can come in very handy because as Scott said, friends, I have ADHD. I am not detail oriented, but I can talk all day. So I do like the interacting, and I'm more of like the reactive role, and a moderator is proactive. They prepare, the events for the community and the emails, and they check my engagement every week to make sure I didn't leave any threads unattended, stuff like that. So there's
Hmm.
definitely roles to fill: leadership, management, and moderating. So, but when you're ready to take that step and do that, um, there's different personality types, and we can talk deeper about that later. But I think everyone is dying to know how you get people to talk, which would thereby
Yes.
necessitate a community manager, right? Like you have
Yes,
to have a
absolutely.
a great community. So um there's really I like to think of this in 3 steps, and it's really easy to remember because it's a really cute alliteration. Who doesn't like an alliteration, right? So I
Right.
like to think of it as step 1 is define, step 2 is design, and step 3 is deploy. So
Okay.
we got the 3Ds. So the first one is define. This is huge. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to tell everyone what to talk about without really defining what is my community actually for. And
Mm-hmm.
here is a big warning for everyone. I think when communities got even huger when COVID hit and people were flocking to these online spaces, and as you said earlier, oh, it's really trendy. And
Yeah.
everyone's my community. I think the biggest mistake everybody made, and now they end up with quiet, awkward communities, is that let's say I'm a coach and I sell coaching services, and then I go, and there's a community.
Mm-hmm.
Like a community is not an afterthought. It's
Yeah.
not a sidecar. If you can't just, it's like if I had that birthday party and I shoved everybody into a room and I didn't tell them why.
Right.
Like maybe, like I could be more specific and be like, this is the spin the bottle room. Everybody would know what's up. But like, you
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, and this is the community. Okay, what do we commune about? Right? You have
Mm-hmm.
to be really specific, and it can get really convoluted if you have you're coaching, but you have group meetings and you have community, and people are like, well, what do I talk about on the live
Mm-hmm.
calls, and what's the community for, right?
Yeah.
So get really clear, and the best way to figure that out is to think, in a perfect world, people would do what? Like what do you actually want out of it? And then work backwards from there. So define this is for most commonly, like I said, forum-based community. You want your
Mhm.
clients to ask each other questions instead of you, because your time is paid. You're
Yep.
the leader. You're the Stu McLaren. Nobody's knocking down the door in the community saying, Stu, I demand you. And sometimes people tag him and it makes me laugh. But
Right.
anyway, that's just not how it works. So
Yeah.
frame up the kind of questions that you want people to be asking. What kind of tone should they be asking? What would prove that you're being influential on them, that they're adopting your methodology? What kind of questions would they be asking, right? So
Mm-hmm.
start there. That's like the define. You need an objective of your community, and communing is not an objective. You need to figure out
Get a
what
little
it's
bit more
for.
deeper on what the purpose
Yes.
of that group is about. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to do like a 1 hour presentation in 1 second. I'll tell you, fill in the blanks in this statement. Name of community, right? So like, Scott's family, right? Colon. This is where fill in the blank who does what. Do they post? Do they comment? Do they share? Do they question? Write it all. This is where these people do this so that they can ultimately achieve what. So you need to know those 3 things. And we've all kind of, if this is sounding familiar, we've all
Mm-hmm.
done this exercise as entrepreneurs. Have you ever done that before? It's like,
Yeah.
I help so-and-so achieve
It's
so-and-so so
exactly
that
what I
they
was
can
thinking whenever you were going through that
ABC.
formula.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but your community needs just as much clarity as your business.
Mm-hmm.
So in my business, I help these people so that they can, succeed in this without having this pain point. Great.
Yeah.
In this community, we specifically act like this because we're with these people so that we can achieve this together,
Mm.
right? So you have to have that much clarity. So
Yeah.
that's the define stage. The next one is design. And this is where the strategy and the prompting comes in. And I like to, one of my favorite exercises with I coach community managers and community leaders. One of my favorite exercises, we sit down and we generate a list of what I like to call strategic calls to action.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if this is sounding familiar, like I said, you already know this stuff. You do it in your business. You don't have a
Yeah.
sales page without a buy now button. Like it has to make sense. It has to be clear. They have to know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Community engagement is the same thing. The only difference is that it's a revolving door.
Mm.
So you need to be telling people what to talk about, when to talk about it, why they should be talking about it, and for what end. That should be clear at all times.
Mm-hmm.
That's clear in the objective statement that we just discussed. Now, once I'm there, how are you constantly prompting me to open up? And there's ways you can do this verbally. Like, let's say, Scott, you're a client of mine. We just wrapped up our coaching call. And I was like, okay, here's your homework for our next call. I want you to post your progress in the community. Let me know how you're doing. And that way I can say, Scott, go do this. I'm being clear.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even get deeper and I'll say, I want you to post in the community because I'll answer your questions about your progress, but there's other people who have closer, backgrounds and experiences to you than I do. And I want everyone to kind of chime in, and we'll all help you together. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving you a reason to do it. And I'm telling you how, like, hey, this is your homework for our
Yeah.
coaching session. I want you to post your progress in here. So I'm telling you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
I could even get more granular. I could say, I want a picture of your community engagement stacks 3 days from now. Post it in the community. Do it.
Hmm.
So, like, again, the gold is in the specificity. Tell
Yeah.
people when to post. So that was just one verbal prompt. My clients walk away with 30 to 50 easy reasons to
Mm-hmm.
prompt to tell people when to talk. It could be as simple
Wow.
as a quarterly customer service check-in. Hey, instead of just saying, hey, rate me 1 to 5 stars, say, hey, where were you last time you got this email 3 months ago? Go post in the community. Let us know how you've grown and what you still wish to achieve. And that's an
Hmm.
automated email. Everybody should be getting their automated customer service. So there's a prompt.
Yeah.
You're wrapping up your call prompts. There's progression through your customer journey prompts. So like if I took Scott's online course, instead of saying, good job, Jade, you finished module 1, go watch module 2, add in a call to action. Say, Jade, you just finished module 1. Here's the link to the community. Post what you found the most valuable and what was hardest for you, right? Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
telling me what to say and giving me a reason to say it
Yeah.
at
And
all
it's great
times.
because whenever, you get your community doing that, that's going to cause other people to interact with that post. And they'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, yeah, when I was going through that module, like I thought the same thing, or this
Yes,
stood out to me, or, then they, maybe it's the same issue that they have. And now they can start conversing about that.
totally.
Yeah.
And a great community manager will likely be the first person to see,
Hmm.
Scott's post. And so what I would do as a community manager is I'd go, Scott, good job finishing module 2. That was so fast. You know what? Okay, I see what you learned here. And this is so interesting because Sally said the same thing last week. Sally, what did you think? Because I think that you finished module 3, right? And all I'm doing is introducing. I'm hosting a
Wow.
party. I'm letting you know that you guys have something in common. And let's be honest, you are in business because you're good at your thing, but you are not the only person on the planet.
Right.
And even though I paid to be in Greg Jenkins' community, I got more value from the collective and
Hmm.
ideas, and I learned different tools and strategies just from watching other people's conversations and going, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. I got to try that.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, those are just some simple ideas, and that's
Yeah.
just the tip of the iceberg of what you coach people
Yeah.
on. But
Yes.
hearing you describe that just makes it sound so much easier than what I could imagine in
Yeah.
the community. And I'm sure, like a lot of us, has been like pulling teeth. But if you just step
Mhm.
back and think about, oh, just make a simple call to action. How do I incorporate into the
Yes.
various aspects of my business of what I'm already doing? It doesn't
Yes.
require building something from the ground up.
No. And I love that you said the word incorporate.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. What I like to say, and this is something that everybody can adopt today, adopt a tick. You should get this like uncontrollable urge to be like, oh, and post it in the community. Like,
Yeah.
never end a thought with being like, oh, great idea, share it in the community. Oh, great question. Can you ask it there? Because I want other people to chime in too. Like, end every thought. And here's something I'm going to get pretty intense about. I'll die on this hill too. You should never answer people's emails or texts or Slack or whatever. You should never answer anybody's question with your unpaid time. Like, if you have a coaching client and they pay you
Mm-hmm.
for 1 hour a week, they can talk to you for an hour a week. And if they send an email the next day that's like, oh my gosh, what were those 5 steps that you taught me? What is the undeniable urge, the tick that you have? Oh, ask in the community because I want to share this concept because this is valuable to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So ask in the community manager swooping everybody in. Everybody's going, oh my gosh, I learned that from Jay too. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So you really want to just practice that. Like, put a Post-it on the top of your monitor that says, tell people to do that in the community. Like, nobody should be talking to you for free.
And that's a
Even if,
great way to protect your time and your boundaries.
yes.
Because I know as entrepreneurs, we also have,
Mhm.
at least I do, have a problem setting and
Yeah.
keeping boundaries. And so
Mhm.
if you have this community and you've got an amazing community manager that's helping to manage
Yes.
that, like you may tell that client, it's like go ask that in the community. You're not going to be the one answering it, because then
Mhm.
the your client may be like, well, why didn't you just tell me? You just answered the question in the group.
Yep.
But if you've got a community manager who's engaging because
Mhm.
they've got your FAQ, they've got all of your information, now
Mhm.
that puts a degree of separation between you and the
Yes.
client. And like you said, your time is paid. So whether
Yeah.
it's one-on-one coaching, group coaching, whatever that is,
Yep.
that to get access to you, it's going to be paid for, but that community is their go-to resource. And you're
Mhm.
subconsciously training them. If you
Yes.
have a question, go to the community first.
Yes.
Then, if you can't find your answer there, then here's the other channels. But you're training your clientele, like always go to the community. And that's interesting, because I don't feel a lot of us kind of think about those types of things as we're building the
Yes.
community.
Yes. Yeah. Just deflect.
Yeah.
And it may sound like, oh, like I don't want to deflect. You're not deflecting to get them away from you. When you do that, not only can you answer their question, which you are going to do it anyway, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But you're also, like, as we know, all of these platforms favor engagement. Even
Yeah.
if you're off social media, let's say you're not in a Facebook group, if you're using something like School or Heartbeat, right?
Hmm.
Those things will ping notifications when someone comments or tags you, right? And
Yeah.
so you're going to get more attention and engagement, whether it's coming from, Facebook notifications or app notifications. Like, you want this activity going on. So it's just going to draw more eyeballs and more conversation. It's a snowball effect. And
Yeah.
what I really love about what you said is you really are training people. Some of my favorite and best clients that I've coached in this community methodology is influencers, because influencers, they have a big following on their social and they think that's a community. So they
Mm.
open up a community, and then the community members are going, oh, cool. Now I get to talk to Scott. Like, I get to talk to him. So, and then that turns into that whole, like, this is eating your time and you feel like you're
Yeah.
drowning. And so that's why you can't skip the define stage,
Yeah.
because if people are onboarded really well and they're told, well, this is what we do here and
Hmm.
this is what to expect, it's like, you're, again, guys, this is the same thing as your business. You don't just like take everybody's money and let them tell you what to do. You say, hey, come to my first coaching call. I need you to bring these documents. I need you to know these things about
Hmm.
yourself, fill out this questionnaire, and then we can start our work together. The same thing goes with your community. You don't just let people in and then just start banging on your door and demanding your time for free. They should know this is the community where you talk to each other.
Yeah.
They have to be told that. They have to be trained. And then over time, um, that monkey pod community that I told you about, that I manage,
Hmm.
it's so engaged that the community members now know that they won't even post. First, they'll search the group, because
Yeah.
they know we've talked about so many good ideas that they'll keyword search and look for really great threads of everyone who's
Hmm.
already given all the answers. Like, it is so trained,
That's awesome.
because they know it's valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're getting close on our time. So we've
Mhm.
covered the first two D's. So we've got define, critically important. Then you design it. What's
Mhm.
the third step?
The third is deploy.
Okay.
So everything I've talked about, like, especially in the design stage, I'm like, oh, here's all the strategic calls to actions. You can tell them what to do here. You can tell them what to do then. Well, that's more of like that's like the ideation of the
Hmm.
strategy versus the implementation of the strategy. So the deploy stage is where you integrate it into your workflows, into your SOPs, where you assign tasks, where you say, you're the community leader, stop posting in here. You're the community manager, you're the one who responds and brings people in. So start collecting data on people, because you need to know who's done what in order to make those relationships. So start paying
Hmm.
attention. You're the moderator. I need you to check before you go to bed every night and make sure no posts were left unattended. So
Hmm.
the deploy is more just like the strategic implementation of, we started broad, we defined what it's for. We know exactly what we want out of it, who's supposed to be there, what I want them to do. Great.
Hmm.
Then the design is where I strategically force that activity, both
Yeah.
in my verbal, in my email, in my community, my social media prompts. And people post, those influencers are talking about, they post all the time now on their reels. They're like, ask
Hmm.
that, okay, what do you think about this? Ask in the community. We're all going to share. And even in that 3-second prompt, you guys, they know that they're going to post and other people are going to comment, not me. So
Hmm.
you got to bake that in. So come up with all of those prompts, and then make sure you have to, of course, you have to execute. So the last
Yes.
stage is to make sure you open all of your business's workflows and automations. You go check out your customer service automation that loops and checks in with people every quarter. What are you saying to them? Is
Hmm.
every single email is an opportunity to get people to open up. Everything,
Yeah.
literally every action in your business, every website, every email, every text, everything, every conversation, every message, every social media post. These are all opportunities to spice in a call to action for the community in the end.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So, and I've tried, starting communities in the past and they've
Mhm,
bombed. And I think, a lot of people have, and I know a lot of other, people, just even in the communities that we're a part of,
mhm.
that they've started communities and they've, kind of fizzled out because they didn't really think through. I know I didn't think through I didn't define it, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to start this thing. It's like shiny object syndrome. Oh, I got to have a
Yeah.
group. But if you don't go through the proper process,
Mhm,
just like anything in our business, you're not going to have a high likelihood of success. And so I like
mhm.
the fact that you've distilled this down to the 3 Ds. You define, you design, and then you deploy. That makes it a whole lot easier. And then just some of the simple strategies and everything that you've given. Just like mind blowing because they're so
There's a
simple. I
lot
mean,
in a
they're
really
so
short period
simple.
of
That's
time.
the thing. So I know you've got a lot of resources. I mean,
Mhm,
obviously, you could reach out to Jade if you want a community manager. If she's got availability, if it's a community that she believes in and that type of thing, it might be a
mhm.
conversation that Jade might entertain. But that's, going to be probably a few and far between just because of bandwidth, right? And everything. But that's an option. I know you've got a course, but I know you've got something for free that you'd like to offer to our people. So if you can describe that for a little bit about, community and how they can leverage that.
Yeah, so this is really cool. Community, because it's so diverse, there's social media communities, there's Slack communities, there's texting communities, there's school, there's Kajabi, there's everything in the world, right?
Hmm.
I personally believe everything I teach is platform agnostic. It's all strategy and database, so you don't have to stress about that. But you still need to measure the statistics in your community and I feel like it can feel overwhelming when people start talking technical jargon. They're like, what are your KPIs for your engagement rate versus your participation rate? And you're like, what the hell does that mean? So not only did I explain all of these statistics, I pre-populated a spreadsheet with the formulas where all you do is enter in a couple pieces of data monthly, how many people are in there, how many people you lost, how many people you gained, and how many posts, comments, and likes. And your platform should give you that data. So you literally just plug it in, takes a few minutes once a month, and it
Hmm.
tells you exactly what your stats are and what some benchmarking goal ideas are too. And there's an explainer video and everything. So you can have
Oh,
that
wow.
spreadsheet. It's free. It gives you all of your data so you can make data informed decisions. Who doesn't love that, right?
Awesome. Well, Jade, I really appreciate your time here today. This has like been super insightful because I feel like communities, I mean, again, it's that shiny object right now.
Mhm.
Everybody's kind of talking about that, but if you really want to get a community going for it to benefit your customers, your prospects, your customers, and to benefit your business, that win-win situation, you've got to do it the right way. And unfortunately, a lot of people skip over that step and just
Mhm.
go, immediately into launch mode.
Yeah.
And so I encourage you to check out Jade's resources. Definitely check out and request the community ROI tracker because if you do have a community already, this will let you kind of know where are you at on the scale, what needs
Yeah.
to be improved or hey, you really just kind of like need to get Jade's specific help with this, take her course or work with her
Yes, I do
one-on-one.
offer, I do like about quarterly, I'll run a 3-day intensive workshop where
Hmm.
we go through everything and you have a workbook and you fill out your entire strategy from all three phases. That's why it's a 3-day event. So it's like
Hmm.
on Monday we do design, on Wednesday we do define design, and then on Friday we do deploy. So it's all documented for you so you can feel really confident executing. And then of course I do also private coach as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, any final words before we wrap up today?
Yes, I do. I do. You probably heard Scott say this in my intro. I'm really passionate about it. Um, I like to say that my most marketable skill is that I can make people feel seen, heard, and loved, even in digital communities. And the
Hmm.
reason I'm passionate about that is because in marketing and in business, we talk about know, like, trust. And
Yeah.
that's important. You design your emails and your whole website strategy and all of these things to build relationships with people. And I think where if you're not seeing the conversion rates that you want or the engagement rates that you're wanting, I think if you flip that upside down and instead of know, like, trust, because that's what I want it about me, my business, me, seen, heard, and loved is actually the reverse of that. I want people
Mhm.
to know me. Well, they want to be seen.
Yeah.
I want people to like me. Well, they want to be heard. I want people to trust me. Well, then that to them, that means they need to be loved or valued. If you don't like the word love, that's fine. Seen,
Hmm.
heard, and valued. But I think if you just constantly put yourself in their shoes instead of making it about yourself, you're naturally going to attract people. That is the
Yeah.
only marketing I've ever done is love other people, and it's grown my business tremendously.
Yeah, and I can attest that I've seen that in, the communities that we're a part of. I mean, Jade
Yeah.
is, one of the most selfless people that I know. She's a ball of energy. If
Hmm.
everybody else is just kind of like, oh, I'm really exhausted, Jade's going to light up the room.
Yeah.
She's a ball of energy, but she does. She does make you feel seen, heard, and loved.
Mhm.
And I can attest, that people are drawn to you because we always love having people like you in our lives.
Yeah,
Add
and
so
invite
much
me to your
value.
communities, guys. Go to my website. He'll give you the link and then reach out to me so that I can join your community and cheer you on. So I'm gonna love
Awesome.
it.
Well, Jade, thanks for being here. That's all
Mhm.
for today's episode of From the
Mm,
Trenches. So make
so
sure
good.
you go request your community ROI tracker. We're going to put the link in the show notes. So just click on that link. And if you're looking to supercharge your email marketing, check out my book, Hit the Inbox, at hittheinboxbook.com. It's packed with 76 pages of strategies to get your emails landing in inboxes and driving sales. Thanks for
And
tuning
and
in
I've read
today.
it.
Oh,
I've read it. It's good. You should read it. It's great. Get
thanks, Jade.
it.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you. Until next time, keep crushing it in the trenches.
Mm.